The imprisoned mind. What is the imprisoned mind? Well, let's just call this, it's an indoctrination. Okay? It's used to shape your mind into thinking a certain way. Therefore, putting boundaries on your mind, and therefore putting boundaries on you that don't actually exist. Examples of this. Have you ever heard when someone says, well, that's just the way it is? See, things like that. It's almost like every time they use these type of phrases, basically, that's what they do. They imprison your mind. It's like they put one bar on you already because you accepted that. But when you look around in other places or other situations, circumstances, you realize that, no, it isn't always that way. You see? This is the type of things that they do to imprison you and get you to believe that there's no way out of your situation. Like a job, for example. You come in there, you work hard, you do what you need to do. But somehow they want to make you believe that where you're working at is the only place there is to work. You know, you're not going to find a better job than this. And therefore, they imprison you. It's another bar on your mind. And when you're unhappy about something at work and you choose to challenge it, again, there it is. Listen, they're the ones in charge and you work for them. Right? There it is again. There's another bar. See? But meanwhile, we can look at what's going on and we know that it isn't the right thing to do. Right? We know that this is unjust. It's unfair. And again, they tell you there's nothing you can do about it. Why is it there's nothing you can do about it? It's because that's what they want you to believe, that there's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing you can do to change your situation or your circumstance. You see? Or they'll give you the option of saying, well, you can leave. You can go somewhere else if you're not happy here. But you see, that would be like in society, a crime is committed against you and you don't report it. You don't stand up against it, you do nothing about it. So what continues to happen? That same person that's committing that crime continues committing crimes and getting away with it because no one wants to stand up and challenge it. And you see, that's how they stay in power. That's how they're able to get away with what they do. Because they've actually made you believe that there's nothing that you can do about it. See, if you look back through history at some of the greatest men who lived, such as the Prophet Muhammad, Jesus, and the Buddha. These were people who came at some point in time and they saw the wrong that was being committed and they decided to speak out against it on some level. Let's talk more about Jesus. See, everybody thinks Jesus was some guy that just sat on clouds made out of cotton candy and he just did miracles. This was basically the gist of it. But people don't realize, if you look deeper, he was a reformer. He saw the wrong that was being done. He looked at how the Pharisees are basically living in the lap of luxury. They were not starving. They didn't want for anything. So they had a system down, right? They had a lock on the system. But just like many places we might work at, there are certain things that are promised to us. The ability to grow, so forth and so on, right? So it's the same thing. He looked at the system that existed in his time, and he saw that when the people needed help, such as for food and other items, they weren't receiving the help. But meanwhile, when you look at the people that you're giving all your money to, for sacrifices or what have you, they're living a life of luxury. They're living good. Meanwhile, the people were suffering. So he decided to speak out against the system. He decided to point out the flaws in the system and to tell people, you don't have to take part in that. You don't have to be part of it. Let's just change the system. Let's change it. But in order for that to happen, what has to happen? You have to realize that you can make a change, that you can change yourself and you can change your situation. The body's interesting. The body knows when something is wrong, right? You feel pain. You feel pain. So that's an indicator that something is wrong. So So similarly, we have other parts of us which tell us something is wrong. Why? Because you're not happy. You're not happy. You're not at peace. You're constantly stressed. And when you go to your job, you just like Jesus in his time, you could look around you and see the things that are wrong. You could tell that you are a victim of this system. Because meanwhile, while you're basically living there, working however many hours you have to work just to make ends meet, look at those on top. Look at those who were put as managers and everything else. Look at how easily their life is. You have to come in whenever they want. You got to be there at a set time. See, there's a double standard there. Okay? They can walk around with a cup of coffee in their hand and point out what it is that you're not doing. But meanwhile, what are you doing? You're criticizing, walking around with a cup of coffee in your hand. If you see that I'm not doing something right, if you see that I need help, why are you not helping me? Where's the leadership? You see, but no. That's below them. You are a peasant. So similarly, when Jesus at one point was washing his hands, excuse me, he did not wash his hands while he was eating. So again, here come one of the Pharisees and say, hey, you didn't wash your hands. So therefore, he had to turn around at that point in time and look at them and point out all the stuff that, wait a minute, you're looking to see what I'm not doing, but what are all the things you're supposed to be doing you're not doing? You see? That's how it works. They create a double standard where for them it's okay, but for you it isn't okay. You see? But there's only one way to break out of this mentality, is you have to realize that you have equal value or as much value as that person that's standing there telling you what you're not doing, or you're not doing it right according to their opinion. You see? And this is what we got to break out of. If you're going to find true happiness, if you're going to find anything, you got to start by taking them bars off. Okay? Because those bars are basically thoughts that are implanted into our minds to try to shape our perception and therefore imprison us. The moment that you stop believing or allowing things to go into your mind that don't belong there, then you realize that you have other options other than this that's been given to you, this particular option that they say is the only ones, right? So therefore, if you're letting other people tell you what the options are, you're not figuring out for yourself what the options are. You're a prisoner. You're a prisoner of this person and their perception and their way of doing things. So you have to sit back and do pretty much what a lot of these great men did in time, which is they got away from everything. They needed time to think. They did it in meditation. They looked back at the world that they were a part of. And let's not call it the world, because that's just the wrong thing to call it. The society that they were a part of. The system they were a part of. And what did they realize? That it was broken. It's not working for them. And it's not working for anybody else either. See, a lot of times you're going to have one person who's outspoken. A lot of times that person has the courage to say the things that you wish you could say. You see? But as long as you guys stay quiet and don't try to challenge the system, and you allow these guys to continue to get away with it, what changes? Nothing changes. So then what's the point of complaining? What is the point of crying? You see? So when you see these type of things, you know deep down inside they're wrong. You know that deep down inside they're not right. But as long as you continue to go along with the system will last. They will not ever collapse. And all it takes is one person to step up and challenge the system. And hopefully, if you don't have too many other people who are scared to come out of prison, they would step up as well and say, yeah, we agree, that isn't right. What you are doing to us is not fair. And continue on and challenge the system. Challenge the things that are wrong in your life. Just like these great men had to do at one point. When they looked around, they saw the wrong that was being done. You see, because the way they imprison your mind is quite simple. First, they want to convince you of something. that isn't correct. It's correct for them because it's beneficial to them, but it doesn't benefit you. You see, but they want to make you believe that it does. You know, while you're out here putting in all the extra work, working long hours, what are they doing? They're off enjoying their life. Yeah, they're off enjoying their life. And then upon closer inspection, when you talk to some of these individuals, you realize they don't know what the hell they are doing, but you do. You see? So what's starting to happen here? Basically, you are making their lives easier for them, right? Because you're solving all their problems. So therefore, they're getting paid, making money, living this luxurious lifestyle off of your ideas. You see? And so basically, if you look at that, how is that right? How is that fair? You see? When you can be off getting money, getting paid off of your own ideas. Why should someone else benefit off of your ideas? Why should somebody else get rich off of your ideas? You see, that's the equivalent of taking an idiot, right? Taking an idiot and making him your boss. He doesn't know anything, you know, but yet there's this idiot, okay? So now, you're constantly running behind him saying, hey, don't do this, hey, don't do that, watching his back. And unfortunately, in workplaces, we have that. Those are the ones that want to suck up. When the boss doesn't seem to know what the hell's going on, when he's supposed to be the leader, he should know what's going on. And here comes that guy, oh, pick me, boss, pick me. I got you. I'll take care of that for you. You know, you'll solve that problem. And then he gives you that pat in the back. You know, I bet you feel all good inside too, huh? Makes you feel all good inside, doesn't it? But the reality is, all that goes away when you say, hey, you think you can pay me more? Oh, somebody hates you. Like, what? You're lucky you have a job. See, there it goes again. There's that indoctrination. You are lucky you have a job. I mean, other places, see, there it is. There it is. Other places, you probably wouldn't have these luxuries. You wouldn't have this benefit. You see, there's that imprisonment again. And then you actually start to believe that. But deep down inside, you don't feel happy. And you're not going to feel happy. Who feels happy in prison? You know? Who wants to continue to go to a place that doesn't make you happy? So how many years are you going to spend in this prison of unhappiness? And then when you look back at it, how many years did you spend there? And now you're retired. Oh, here's the next part of it. You know, oh, I'm going to retire. I'm going to have these great benefits. I'm going to have that. Brother, you think so? Stop and think about it. There's something known as inflation, right? So, hopefully you guys know what inflation is. If you don't, well, let's just put it this way. It's just basically when they print out a whole bunch of money, okay? And all the money once upon a time, I mean, let's just say back in the days, if you ever watched those old documentaries where somehow in the middle of this documentary, there's somebody that had money, and the guy says for his time, you know, it was $50,000, but if you compare it to our time, it turns out to be 100 million or some crazy amount like this. Why is that? Well, it's because money loses value as time goes on. The more money you print, the less it's worth, okay? Because money has to be backed up by gold. So what is the point here? Why I bring that up? So when they sit there and tell you, oh, think about your benefits. Think about your 401k. You can retire soon. And then they show you this lifestyle of you going around, traveling the world, X, Y, and Z. But see, that was okay, and maybe that applied for their time. But today, you'll be lucky if you can retire. You're lucky by the time you retire, your money has enough value for you to be able to survive off of so that you can live that lifestyle. Because everything is going up. Is it going up? No, it's just the value of the dollar. The value of the money is worth less. You see? So there's another mental trap. There it is. There's another bar to put on you to keep you there. You see? And then, of course, we all have to face the part where basically we're going to get sick, unfortunately. It's part of what is just the way it goes, right? See, those things like that, getting sick, our health, see, that's just the way it is. That right there is a fact that will not change. You see? But the stuff that they are telling us, it's just the way it is. This is the best company to work for. Is it? Is it? But why is it not rated? Why is it when I look on the website, or excuse me, look online to see best rated companies, we're not even mentioned. Like, this is such a great company. You see? Why is it people are coming in here and leaving all the time? And then you want to make it seem like it's their fault. Well, they couldn't handle it. No, they were smart. That's what they were, smart. They realized that this place is nothing but total BS. It's a dead end. You see? They were smart. They left. You see? But what happens to some of us? Huh? Too scared to leave because you believe their lies. You allowed them to imprison your mind into believing that this is the only place that you can go because you've been there so many years. My question to you is, how many more years do you want to waste being unhappy or lying to yourself or just not thinking about it? Kind of like a person that's constantly abused. They try to block it out. Isn't that what they do? They try to block it out. Try not to think about it. Try to move on with their life. Why do we have to lie to ourselves? Why do we have to block things out? Why can't you just be happy? Why is that not part of the process? Why? Because they say it isn't? Because they've convinced you that it can't be that way? You see, this is that imprisoned mind. You see, they give you so many options, okay? And say these are the only options, and yet you think you are free because you can choose between the options they gave you. That is not freedom. That is imprisonment. And yes, we can make a comparison. We can say, oh, other countries and other places. That's fine. And other companies, we can do this all day. But at the end of the day, where you're at, what your situation is, what you are suffering, is it pleasant? So is that how that's the next bar they put on your mind. There it is. There's nothing. They point the finger somewhere else and say, look, it's worse over there. See, but when you turn around, you point, well, look, it's better over there. What did they say? They have nothing to say at that point, huh? It is better on that side. Let me go over there. But now they want to scare you with another bar, right? Which is it? What's the little saying they got? The grass is always green on the other side. Maybe not. But I sure as hell like to go find out if it is. You know, that's what I want to go do. And then when it turns out it is better on the other side, and you start telling other people about it, what happens? They want to stop that. They get upset. Now they're scared. Everybody's going to leave. Yeah, everybody's going to leave, and you're aware of that, but yet you still don't want to change your ways. You see? You still want to keep us in prison, right? You don't want to make it a give and take where you could be happy and we could be happy. No, that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you are happy and that your lifestyle is okay and that you're living this life of luxury. You don't care about the rest of us. That's the reality of it, right? But we're supposed to turn around and care about you. Interesting. You see, there's another double standard. So at the end of the day, if you're going to be happy, if you're going to find yourself at peace, then you have to really sit back and look at it and see what is causing you this unhappiness or what is causing you this stress, whatever it might be. It could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be the car you're driving, whatever it is. There's no reason to live like that. Remember, you only got one life. This is it. How many more years you're going to spend it being unhappy is totally up to you. You have the power to change it, in spite of what they want to tell you. They want to tell you that it can't be changed, it can't be changed, it can't be changed. Let me tell you something. Everything seems to change. Everything has its moment, if you will. And that's the part that we have to realize. Because if you don't realize it, you're going to be in this situation for as long as you allow them to be. Allow them to do this to you. So if you want to free your mind, start by thinking for yourself. Start questioning. Start seeing if there is something better. Because there is. Because that's just the way it goes. They do it. They make the comparison, but they do it in the opposite way, right? They're negative. Like they're the better, and look at them. They're the worst. But they don't want to point out that the other places where it might be better because it don't benefit them. So if you want something out of this life, you have to start questioning. You have to be a reformer. And maybe not necessarily a reformer of the people, but at least be a reformer of yourself. See? Learn to be in control of your life. Learn to question things. Learn to be careful what thoughts are put into your mind because they may not free you. They do the opposite. They keep you in bondage. See, that is the imprisoned mind. and if you could succumb to that, and if you allow them to keep doing that to you, then you will never ever find happiness. Just gotta keep that in mind. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to stand up against them. Don't be scared to change your life. Why should you be scared to change your own life for the better? You see, there's that other bar. You won't make it. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. Again, these are opinions. These are more bars they're putting on your mind. You see? That's what's going on. And that's what's been going on. So until you realize that these are nothing but lies, you're always going to be imprisoned. You see? That's what it is. They want to keep you there. Okay? And then the day they don't need you anymore, you think they care? No. You're thrown out. Goodbye. They've kept you there so long, the only skills you've been able to acquire are the skills that are relative or useful to them. They don't care. So what happens? Here we are again. It's a rotation going back to find something similar. We're looking for a similar prison. You see that? We're not looking for something better. We're looking for a similar prison. Something that we are used to. You see? Because they convinced you that that's the only thing you can do because you've been doing it for how many years? That's it. You have nothing else. So we need to start seeing these traps. We need to start seeing these bars that are being put on us and awaken. Okay? And take a stand against it. Let's reform it. You know? Just because someone said this is the way it is doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way it is. Unless you're talking about facts. Like the sun rises and it sets. Those are facts. That hopefully does not change. But for right now, those are facts. It's going to rain sometimes. It's going to be cold sometimes, depending on, I guess, wherever it is that you are located. But I guess you get the point. You get the point. So that's the only way you will find true freedom. That's the only way you will find happiness. You see? Because they don't care about your goals or what it is that you're trying to do. They don't care. You see? And the whole time, as you're going through the experience, you realize that within you, there's a bigger and greater potential. But what happens? They've imprisoned you into letting you believe that this is the only thing that you are good for. Nothing beyond this point. And as long as you keep believing that, you will never live up to your true potential. You will never really be free. Does that make sense? Well, that is the nature of the imprisoned mind. And the only person that can change that is you.